All right, so we're going to do a little platform overview. So I guess I usually start with the program design itself, what we call the adaptive learning model. Basically, the idea behind the program design was we have a lot of parents who want their kids to do some sort of online learning. We know that digital literacy is sort of the future of work. Kids need to have a certain amount of digital literacy. And kids just love learning online. They're on YouTube, they're on TikTok, they love being on screens. So why fight them when that's where they are? So there was a lot of demand for online learning, but there's some ways in our point of view where online learning falls short. And that's what we wanted to create, a program that combined the best of both worlds. So online learning that doesn't give up the hands-on, sort of like some of that joyful part of learning in homeschool, which is like science experiments at the kitchen and art projects and building a diorama in social studies, going outside for a scavenger hunt. All of that sort of stuff we wanted to still be baked into the program. And then as well, asking a little more of the kids, especially as they get older. A lot of people find that online learning is good for younger kids, but as they get older, you're lacking sort of that robust English language arts program where they actually learn to write essays, write book reports, all that sort of stuff. And just asking them to like think deeper about topics that they're learning about. So you can't get a complete education if all you're doing is like true and false, multiple choice, fill in the blank, those online learning type of questions. So we want to still be able to ask them to think critically and form opinions and go do research and report back, do oral presentations, all of that sort of stuff that sort of like rounds out that full education. So when we designed the program, we tried to blend both things together. So for most of our lessons, you'll find either a digital quiz or an offline activity, or most often both. So we try to give you both as much as possible. And just like an offline program, you will have research projects and science experiments and all of that good stuff, the tactile learning. And as they get older, we're still going to ask them to engage with literature and form opinions and write critically. So that's sort of the overall program design. You can certainly choose to not do any of the offline activities and just stick to an online program. You can choose to print everything and not do the digital quizzes. Some people just want the lesson video and then they do just the offline work. So you can totally make it your own, and that's a big part of our design as well, is allowing you as the teacher to design your own program. So that's totally up to you. You can do what you want, what you don't want. You can leave things off. You can skip lessons. You can skip whole courses. We don't dictate what you learn in a year or what level they learn at which year. That's all up to you. But the overall program design intention is that you're doing the online and the offline activities together. And then we still give you all the flexibility of like pacing and what courses and when. So that's sort of the program design. Then if we're looking at the actual platform, this is your educator portal. So you would sign in using your email address and the password you make. And this is for you as a parent. So you can see all your students down the left sidebar, if you have more than one. Across the top is all our tabs, and I'm going to show you what all of them do. And then this is sort of like your Learning Central right here for the child that's highlighted on the side. So there's two modes of learning in Schoolio. There's scheduled mode, which is what you see right here. And then there's open exploration mode. So in scheduled mode, you have a timetable. You decide what lessons from which courses they learn, what days of the week, what time of the day. So you can make this beautiful color-coded schedule for your kids to follow. When they log into the student portal, they will see what you've assigned in the order you've assigned it, and they won't see anything ahead from what you've assigned. So they won't see Tuesday's courses until Tuesday arrives. So if you're in scheduled mode, you have scheduling options. You can add a break. So here we can add our public holidays, whether you're Canada or US, you can do all, or you can just select the ones that you observe in your family. You can do custom breaks. So this is great for winter vacation, spring vacation, family, camping trip, whatever you like, you can put in a custom break. And then anything that you schedule, if you schedule like a recurring every Monday, Wednesday course, it'll skip over your break days. The other mode of learning is called open exploration. So in open exploration, you'll see there's no timetable. So in open exploration, you still have control over what courses your child can see. You set it as visible for student or not visible for student. But when they log in, they can see every course that you've set to visible, and they can decide what order they do, how many they do, what days. So they might do one math followed by one language arts. They might do all 10 dinosaur lessons because they're super into dinosaurs this week. That's our child-led learning mode. So that's a much more open that's why we call it open exploration. And you can change that in your student settings anytime you want. So you can have different students on different modes. You can switch them back and forth mid-year. And if you go to open exploration and then back to scheduled, your scheduled stuff will still be there. So after the schedule, there's sort of the resource center. This is just a bunch of little videos, all how-tos, quick snippets if you just need to know how to do one thing really quick. Then you get your student's course load area. So in your course load area, when you first sign up, you tell us what grade level roughly your child is in. And we auto load a selection of courses for you just so that this isn't scary and blank when you first log in. So if you say that your child's in grade 4, we're gonna auto load all 5 strands of grade 4 math, all strands of English language arts, and then a selection of science, social studies, and SEL just to get you started. You're certainly not limited to those courses in any way. You can add more anytime you want. You can add more by going up here on your top bar to more courses. This takes you to our marketplace of every course we have. So you can filter here. With your subscription, you get access to every Schoolio course, every grade level. So you can mix and match as much as you want. So you can see we do a lot of our courses are graded by a range. So we don't like to put anyone in the box of like you're 10, so you have to be in grade 4, so you have to learn these things. So if you see, I always tell people, do not feel boxed in by the grades written on the thumbnail. If you have an 8th grader who loves horses, there's no reason they can't take this course. Even if you have a 1st grader who loves horses, they can still take this course as well. You can easily sort of modify the activities if you feel like they're a little too easy or a little too hard. You know, if we ask them to write a paragraph and it's a 1st grader, you might ask them to write a sentence and draw a picture, sort of modify those activities. But certainly the grades on them give you just an idea of the age of child, the language is geared towards, and the activities. But I would never say that you should not let your kid do a course just because of the grade assigned to it. So you can filter any way you want. You have access to both the Canadian and the US library. So if a lot of kids if they're into history, they might like to know from both. A lot of parents like their kids to do geography from both. So you have access to all of those courses. To pick a course, you just click enroll and it'll add it to their course load. It disappears from the marketplace. We did that so that you wouldn't accidentally add it more than once and then have a bunch. So if you're ever looking for something that you can't find, it might be already in your course load, and that might be why you can't find it. So we'll go back to my students and let's find a course that isn't scheduled yet. Okay, so this was, I'll just show you what I did there. I went from the course load section. These are all the courses I've clicked enroll and I've enrolled in. And now I'm going to schedule it. So you can open up the course. You see all of the lessons that are a part of that course. This is the badge. So it's black and white before they start the course. Once your student has finished all lessons in the course, they get a little pop-up and a celebration and their badge turns to color. And then they also see it in their student portal as well. So the top lesson is always your educator package. So your answer key, your certificate of completion, and anything else that you need is going to be in there. And all of these lessons are editable. So you can add PDFs, you can add URLs if you have links. If there's anything you want to change, you can put a message to your child that shows up in their portal. So you can edit these, you can change the order if you want to put them in a different order. You can certainly skip any of them when you're scheduling, and you can also add custom lessons. So I can add, say you're doing this unit on bees and you found a really fun craft on Pinterest and you want to do it, you can give them instructions. Mm-hmm. If you have like a PDF or something, you can add that. And if you have like say a YouTube video or something that has a URL, you can add that as well. And that URL will play right in our platform rather than taking them out of the system. So you can add a custom course or a custom lesson, and then you can put it wherever you want it to go. And then you would just save lesson order once you had rearranged things. And then so you can customize this Schoolio unit any way you want. For scheduling, you can either schedule one at a time. So this little calendar button will pop this open. You can schedule this for whenever you want. You can pick different lessons. So you can schedule them all sort of one at a time. If you know that you want science to be every Tuesday and Thursday at 3 o'clock, then you can do, this is the recurring schedule. So now it's going to schedule it every Tuesday and Thursday. You can pick your start date as well. So if you're not starting for a few weeks, and it'll schedule it all in order, and it will jump over any breaks you've put into your schedule as well. So I'll show you guys a lesson in case you haven't seen a lesson yet. So part of our neurodivergent friendly design is that our videos are bite-sized, which means they're all roughly between 2 and 7 minutes. They're all designed to be low distractibility. So we use sort of the science of learning and how kids learn and retain better. It's low dopamine, but it's low distraction.
Hello, explorers. 1, pollinate. What is pollination? Pollination is how many plants reproduce. It is the process of pollen travel. An apple tree reproduces, makes more apple trees, through seeds which grow in the fruit of the tree. Pollinator is anything that helps move pollen from one plant to another, allowing them to reproduce.
So that's the video. After the video is a digital quiz. So this is testing the comprehension of what they just watched. Mm-hmm. At the end of this, when they're done it, the grade from this will go into your dashboard. And then you also have your PDFs. So for every lesson, we give you the lesson PDF. This is what we used for the scripts for the videos. So if you ever wanted to be fully offline, you were going camping or something like that, you could print these and then just read them aloud to your student or have them read them if they're older. And it's the same content as what was in the video lesson. And then your worksheet is going to be your offline practice work. So this is an I Spy pollinators where they're going to go outside and try to spot different pollinators. So that's an example of one of those like tactile go outside activities. Sometimes depending on the subject, it's just a worksheet, like especially in math. Math is more just rote practice. But in science, social studies, we try to do as many hands-on activities as possible. These PDFs are also annotatable. So if you have a student that prefers to type, they can type right on it. If you have, if they want to draw, a lot of people use the drawing with a tablet and tablet pen. So it's just like handwriting, but on the screen, and that saves you having to print anything. But you can download and print anything that you want from here. We're in the parent portal, so I can see attempts made on the quiz. Your child can't see this when they're in their portal, but I can see that. And then your child would just click complete mission when they were done, and then this lesson would be marked as complete. So then when you came to look in your parent portal, you would see this as complete. I didn't do the quiz, so there's no score, but you can add one manually. So if you ever do a lesson and you decide to be fully offline, and you skip the digital quiz, you can still add a grade in here if you want them to have a grade for like the worksheet or whatever you did offline. And then we can always delete our recurring schedule if we want to take that off of the schedule. So that's the unit overview. When you're on your calendar, you can print your calendar. You can schedule individual lessons from here. So I would just pick the course and whatever lesson. The green ones are already complete. So I can pick one if I want to schedule one off right from the calendar. You can drag and drop things on your calendar. If you need to change it, you can expand the view. So I can see the whole month or the week or the single day if you want to. Where's my day? I have nothing scheduled today. So these purple ones, lots of people always comment, they're like, how did you get unload the dishwasher into your schedule? So these are our custom courses. So if you go down to your course load where you have all your courses and this little plus button, you can create a custom course. So you can create a custom course on anything you want. And I've seen parents be so creative with this. So I used it for a lot of things, but one of my favorites was chores. So if I want my kids to do certain chores every day, I'll actually just show you the course. So I made one that was chores, and you have different units. So the architecture is like a course, and then you can make units, and then inside each unit is lessons. So I did weekly chores that they have to do every week, and I just scheduled this over and over again so that it appears on their timetable. People also use custom courses for things like if their child has a tutor and the tutor gives them work to do during the week, you can add those PDFs right to the lesson. Speech therapy or anything physiotherapy where they have exercises, you can add the YouTube URLs directly to it, so you can put it right in their schedule as part of their day. If you make your own content, if you buy content from somewhere else like TPT or whatever, you can always add all of that as your own custom courses. Oh yeah. And I did activities as well. So field trips, like our recurring things, scouts and skating, field trips that we just do one-off, sports schedules, there's so much that you can put in here, whatever you sort of need in your life. But it lets you schedule your whole life in one spot. And especially for our neurodivergent learners, they usually really thrive with that visual laid out schedule that includes everything. You don't just have to do math and social studies today. You also have to walk the dog and then go to hockey practice, and it's all on their calendar. And any of these lessons, they can mark as complete. When it's complete, it gets this little check mark on your calendar. So then you can look in here and see what they did today, if they got everything done today. So, are there any questions so far? Take a small breath.
No.
Okay. I have a tendency to talk really fast, so just please interrupt me if you need me to slow down or repeat anything. So in the dashboard, this is where you're going to see all of your students' analytics. So I can see all of my students at a glance by subject. So just like a really high level overview of how they're doing. I can see his average mood check. So we have this thing called vibe check. It comes on at the beginning of the day. So the first time they log in each day, very non-invasive. We just ask kids how they feel. And that gives you in the back end in your parent portal a little bit more data on how your kid's feeling. So this one is the average. If you go into your notifications though, you'll be able to see all of them. Let's see if I have some in here. This is a demo count. So there you can see, so you can sort of watch those and see if they're generally feeling excited to learn or apprehensive, and just use that knowledge. So in here in your dashboard, any child, if you click on more, you get to see all of the courses that you've assigned them that they've started. You can see all of the lessons that they've completed within that course, all of the attempts they made at the quiz, and you can open those up as well, and you can see what question they were asked and what their answer was. So this gives me insight into their answers. I can see that this is a keyboard smash and not a real answer. You can adjust the grades. So if you feel like they should get, like maybe you know that that was a lot of effort from them and you want to reward that effort, you can change the grade. You can add your own grades. So if you like these ones that say manual data entry, that means that when I was in the course mode and I marked it complete, I put in a manual grade. So that's not a quiz attempt. You can delete these as well. So if you want to, some people like to take the average, other people, their kids retake the quizzes trying to bring their grade up. So then they want to only keep the highest grade. So that's totally up to you. As your kids get older, they will start being asked questions that bring in those like critical thoughts, opinions, research, and just questions that the system can't answer or can't grade. Because a computer can grade something if there's a finite right or wrong, but it can't grade really your child's thoughts and their opinion. And sometimes there is no right or wrong answer. You just want to see what they thought. So for those ones, you'll see it doesn't say right or wrong. It's just the question that was asked and the answer your student gave. So then you can take a look. This is really great for like engaging them at the dinner table too. If you see like they have an opinion on trees and or deforestation or whatever the topic is, you can see what their opinions are. You can see how much they wrote. You can decide if you want them to redo that quiz, or if you're happy with the grade, and you can just give them a grade for that. So it'll just say add grade. This one I've added in the past, but if the system can't mark them, then it'll say add grade and you can add a grade. Of course, you only have to worry about grades if you're in a state or province that makes you report grades or provide a portfolio. Otherwise, you don't really have to worry about grades very much, other than looking for your own interests. The personality quiz, every student, when they first log in, the first thing we ask them is a personality quiz. So this serves two purposes. One is to give you some insight into your child and how they learn. It's amazing how honest kids will be when they're just talking to an inanimate form on the computer versus people. So we ask them things like, if you were building a Lego castle, how would you like to get your instructions? So would you like to see a picture? Would you like to listen to someone tell you the instructions? Would you like to read the instructions, or do you just want to play with the pieces and figure it out? And this seems like nothing to the kids, but to us, it's giving us some insight on whether they're a visual, auditory, or kinesthetic learner. So that gives you some insight into your kid. What are your favorite subjects? We ask them, like, what are you awesome at? What are your superpowers? What would you like to learn more about? And that's sort of part two of the personality quiz, is that we're trying to get them empowered to be active participants in their own learning. So if you see, what would you like to get better at? And you see something specific like handwriting, then you know that they're engaged and committed to getting better at that. And you can work with them on that. So that's just a little insight into your student, that they can skip it if you don't want them to do it. But it's always the first thing that shows up when they log in for their first time. And then you can view your transcript in here as well. You can customize your date range. So whether you want to do or have to do a transcript by like semester or term or quarter, or the whole year, you can apply the dates, and then it'll show you whichever courses they took during that date, whether it's in progress or complete, and their grade. So you can download that and then email it or print it wherever you need to. You can add your school name in your parent details if you want to give your school a name and have it appear on the transcript, which is just fun. So that's your analytics. We did more courses. Resources is just those little videos, the how-to videos if you need help. And then the Schoolio lab. So the lab is where we put things that we're checking out and seeing if customers like it before we fully integrate it into the system. So we like to put things here that are fun for the kids, but we also have one for the parents that I want to show you. So there's Dino World is our immersive 3D world. Kids have a little avatar. They run around, visit all the dinosaurs. The dinosaurs tell them facts about themselves, and then they collect eggs, answer questions about the dinosaurs to collect the eggs. Kids love it in Dino World. Winter World is also a 3D world. It's all Christmas themed. Where there's like a dance off and a snowman building competition, and stuff like that. There's a little train that they always try to ride. And then these are just educational games, like little educational games you would download on a phone or whatever. So that's just fun for the kids if you want to give them a break. And then this is the tool for parents. This is our AI grading tool. So the AI grading tool has been trained in the back end on the Schoolio specific English language arts activities. So you can tell the program, like we're in grade 5 and we were doing developing paragraphs, and it's been trained on what your student was taught in the course, what they were asked to do for the assignment, and then our rubrics in the back end. So you can just copy and paste whatever they wrote if you had them write it like in a Word doc or Google Doc. They are developing the ability for us to take pictures of our kids' handwritten work and upload that, which will be so cool. I'm excited for that. It's a third-party provider, so it's a little slow. It's to call, talk to the AI, and then send us back the results. So you should know this slow. Oh, there we go. Okay, so it gave me an overall grade.
Oh, yeah.
And then it breaks down every part of the rubrics. So this is what the child was told to do for their assignment. Focus on a single idea, clear topic sentence, supporting body sentences, etc. It tells you what it found, evidence pulled directly from the reading to support what it found, and then points. Everything's out of 4 because it's the rubrics. And if they got less than 4, then it tells you what could have been done to improve that mark. So this is really good. A lot of the older kids use it to check before they sort of finalize their assignment. They'll use it to check what they wrote to see if, like to read and get feedback and then go make improvements. Or you can use it as a parent to help you grade it as well. So then you can just take that grade, that 89%, go back to your dashboard and put it in manually for that assignment.
Look in the card in the console.
Okay, I'm going to show you one other thing and then I will stop yapping. I'm going to show you the student portal. Okay, so I switch this to student and then log in. So you make the username for your student when you sign them up. So this is a vibe check. So it's very non-invasive. It's quick. It just pops up and the kids can pick how they're feeling today. So this is a student on schedule mode. So his lessons pop up in the order that I assigned them. And they're only unlocked if the time has passed that I put them on. So he has a lot of past due because this is a demo account. But he can just, let me find one that's not, there we go. So he comes in, he watches his video, he does his quiz. You can click on the calendar too, and they can see their schedule. A lot of kids like to see it. They can't alter it, but they can see it. And they can access the lab here as well. And they can see their completed lessons, and this is where their badges are too. All the badges they've earned. If you hover over it, it tells you what course they took to earn those badges. And they can look at all their completed lessons if they want to. And then I'll show you a student on open exploration. There's her vibe check. So she's on open exploration, which means she can see every course that I've assigned to her. And she can, if she presses play, it'll just take her to the next unfinished lesson. So if she did 3 last time and then stopped, this is going to open immediately to 4. Or they can go to the file folder and see all the lessons. If it's like, today, I just want to learn about whatever thing, theropods, I can just go watch that lesson. So that is the open exploration mode. They still have the lab. They still have the completed. She doesn't have any badges, but they would be up here. So all the same access, except they're not seeing the things in the scheduled order that you made. And that, I think, is everything. So does anybody have questions or want to see something again or need more clarity in any spot?
For scheduling, is it possible to schedule their day, but they can do the stuff at whatever time they want?
We're actually building that right now because a lot of parents have asked for that. So the ability to say you have to do these lessons today, but I don't care what order you do them in.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what we're building out right now. A lot of people hack it just by scheduling everything really early. So if your kid starts at 9, you can schedule everything for like 6 a.m. And then when she logs in at 9, everything's open. Everything for the day is unlocked because all the times have passed. But yeah, that is in production with the tech team. So we're gonna we did a survey of all the customers to kind of ask everybody what they wanted it to look like, and the consensus was more of like a checklist. So it's like Monday's to-do list, and then the kid it sort of checks off as they complete it, but with no time blocks. So you still sort of build them in an order like this, but these are going to be gone. And then the other thing we're working on building is sort of a combined scheduled and open exploration where it's like you have to do these things today, but after that you can open explore these topics. So some people want to be like, you have to do math and language arts, but then you do whatever you want out of like these 5 sciences or something like that. Yeah, that's also in the works.
Do you know when those will be up and running?
I don't have dates from the tech team yet. I know that the like untimed events is actually like being built, and then the combining open exploration and scheduled is after that. So that might not be till like December-ish. But yeah, the untimed events should be sooner than that, maybe like 6 weeks.
Okay.
I'm very non-techy, so I'm always like, I would like you to build me this. I have no idea how or how long it's going to take, but please build it for me.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Any other questions? Anything you guys want to see? We have all these Go Noodle and Khan Academy courses as well. Basically, we're trying to continuously add any content that's like free out there. So it's all their content. We don't alter the content in any way. We just put it into lessons so that you can schedule it. So the mindfulness is great. If you have a kid who has like, say, math anxiety, you want to do like a 1-minute mindfulness right before math starts, you can put that in. Go Noodle also has a lot of physical activity ones. High energy exercise for active kids. So those are great, especially for ADHD learners. If you're going to do like math, language, social studies, and you want to put a movement break in between some of them, then that's a good option too. The Khan Academy math is just, if you hit a concept in math, I don't think I have it. Oh yeah, I do have something. If you hit a concept in math that they're just not getting and you're having trouble and you need like another way to explain it, everybody's brains work differently, and sometimes just explaining it a little bit of a different way makes it click. So you can always go and either do the full courses as your math program, or grab, like if you're just struggling with one particular topic, you could just schedule those lessons in.
Okay.
And if you know of any content that's free that you love, we're always taking a running note of things to add in as well. Everybody wants to be able to schedule like their typing program and their French and Spanish lessons and all that sort of stuff.
Do we need to purchase any of the books?
You do not need to purchase any of the books. So everything you need is printable in each lesson. People buy the ebooks because they don't want to print lesson by lesson. So if you like having it all printed at once, like spiral binding, especially for English language arts, a lot of kids like having a little booklet. You can, but it's totally just a convenience item to buy. Everything you need is in the PDFs.
Okay.
And then some things they need more than one day in a row. So they might, especially in English language arts, if they're like working on an essay, then on day one, it's going to be like, here's your graphic organizer. Today we're organizing our thoughts and brainstorming on our topic. And then the next day, it'll be like, here's your writing paper, which you can use, like, it's just lined paper with like cute pictures and stuff in it, right? Like, so you can use it if your kids love it. You can also just have them work in a Google Doc if they're typing, or write by hand at home. But then they'll need, the next few lessons will be work days. So we're going to continue working on this project for a few lessons. So they'll need that piece of paper back again. But it doesn't really matter whether you print it or they're just working at home on paper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Well, if there aren't any other questions, then I can let you guys get on with your days. Almost time for dinner.
I have one more question. I just feel bad because I'm the only one asking anything.
No worries.
But what about assessing where your child is at?
We have assessments for math. Let's see if I can find one. There it is. So in math, every grade has 2 assessments. The readiness assessment is to see if they're ready to begin this grade level. So grade 8 readiness assessment will test all the grade 7 skills. So at the end of that assessment, it'll say like, you're ready for grade 8, or you should brush up on some grade 7. So that helps you place them in the right grade level. Then the final assessment, grade 8 final, will test all the grade 8 skills. So that's like a year-end test if you want to do it. These are all broken down by strand. So there's 5 strands in our math, numbers, sense and numeration, algebra and patterning. That's where the coding is as well in algebra. Geometry and spatial sense, data management and probability, and then financial literacy. So we've divided them by strand, and each assessment is divided by strand as well. So that, because a lot of neurodivergent kids, well, a lot of kids in general, but especially neurodivergent kids, will be at different levels in different strands.
Yeah.
So they might have really good spatial sense, and geometry, they're just like crushing it. But their number sense and numeration might be behind. So you could have a fourth grader who needs grade 3 number sense and grade 4 algebra and grade 5 geometry. So that lets you mix and match by strand. And that's why all our courses are broken down by strand too. If you go to the marketplace, you'll see for every grade that there's 5 courses. And you can do them in any order you want. The order doesn't matter. That just lets you sort of create that. So they don't have to go down a whole grade in every strand if they really only need it in one strand.
But that's only available in math.
Yeah, so that helps you place for math. For science and social studies, placement isn't really a thing because all of the topics are self-contained. So if you're learning rocks and minerals this year, and next year you're learning weather, and next year you're learning cells, like you don't need to know the ones before it to build up to the next one. So for those, I either say if you want to align to your state or provincial standards, you can look those up and you can pick those courses specifically, like my 4th grader needs to learn rocks and minerals, or you can just pick whatever you think they would be interested in. That's what we always did with my kids. I always said, Mom picks math and language, you pick science and social studies. So they pick their own topics. You can also, if you have kids who are close in age, you can have them do the same topics, which makes life a little easier for everyone. And then for English language arts, we're really just trying to see progress year over year. So it's hard to place, like we don't have a reading, like a learn to read program. Our kindergarten program does phonics and sight words, but after that, it's a literature program. So we're trying to get kids to engage with literature. So grade 1, 2, and 3 is picture books. So if you sort of think back to when you were in elementary school and teachers in the rocking chair and kids are sitting around and I'm reading a picture book, it's like that. And we have questions for them to do before and after that engage them with the text, and then activities that go with the theme. But there's not really a set in stone reading level, like all kids at this grade should be reading this level of leveled reader. You'll find even in a school, they'll have, 20 different levels of leveled reader, and all the kids are at different levels for their leveled reader. And even like from brand to brand of leveled reader, they're not even uniform. So I always say, like, pick whatever leveled reader brand you want and then find out where they are. We have a downloadable reading assessment tool that will help you see if the leveled reader they're in is the right level for them. And then just keep going on the leveled readers and moving them up as they're ready. Because other than that, and then in 4th grade, we moved to novel studies. So if they're ready for novel studies, there's a very light, small novel for early readers in the final unit of grade 3. And then grade 4 and up, they do different novels, but there's not really this is a grade 5 reading level book. So you can really look at all the novels and be like, I think she would really like that one. I think she would like that one. Like, this is from grade 5. This is from grade 6. This is from grade 4. If you want to mix and match them. Or you can say, we're doing the 5 grade 4s this year. So yeah, it's like when it comes to reading, kids are so all over the map that it's really better to just what are they comfortable with? And then let's work on moving forward. Same with writing. They practice the same writing skills year over year, because it's not like we teach you how to write an essay in 5th grade and then you know how to write essays the rest of your life. You have to write an essay every year so you get better and better at it, right? So whatever your child's essay looks like this year, there's no right or wrong. There's no on grade level or off grade level. That is where they are. And then we're going to do all the lessons talking about how we write essays, and we're going to try to get better. And then next year, we're going to try to get better again. And you just keep building from there.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
No problem. There's lots of ways to get a hold of us. There's live chat in your parent portal, connects you directly to customer support. So if you have a quick question about something, that's manned from 8 a.m. Eastern to 8 p.m. Western Pacific. So there's always someone around for that. We do these webinars. We do 3 webinars a week. And you can also, on the top bar, if you ever want a one-on-one, you can book that. That's directly to book with the Schoolio teacher. So whether you need platform help or you need homeschooling in general help or educational help in any way, you can always book one-on-one. And the other thing in the student portal, the live chat in the student portal connects them to Schoolio tutors, not customer support. So if they're ever stuck on a concept or something, they can always text with the Schoolio tutors and get some help that way too.
Perfect.
Awesome. So if anybody needs anything, if you have questions, reach out to us any number of ways. And thanks
you.
for coming tonight.
Thank you so much.
All right. It's nice to meet you guys. Bye.
You too.